Okay, let's dive into something that I think a lot of us have a love-hate relationship with,
Uh-oh.
networking.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, in a field like tech.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that feeling that it can feel a little fake.
Totally.
Like it's all about just, having the best-looking LinkedIn profile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But does that actually translate into anything real?
Right.
So we were looking at some excerpts today from an article called "Is Networking Really Worth It These Days?"
Okay.
to sort of figure out if this whole thing is actually valuable or if it's just a soul-sucking charade that we all have to participate in.
Right.
I mean, one of the things that the article talked about was this idea of performative networking.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going through the motions,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not actually connecting with people.
Right. And I feel like it's so easy to fall into that trap,
Oh, yeah.
especially now with social media and everything being, so
I
public.
would say it's all sizzle and no steak. You're getting all these likes and congrats on LinkedIn, but does it ever actually turn into a real relationship or a job or anything like that?
Yeah. Are you actually building those genuine connections, or are you just, kind of performing for an audience?
Right. And how do you even tell the difference?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think one way to think about it is what is your motivation when you're reaching out to someone?
Okay.
Are you doing it because you genuinely want to learn more about what they do?
Mm.
Or because you're hoping they can, help you get a job or introduce you to someone?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it makes a big difference.
So the article also mentioned this thing about people constantly posting their achievements online.
Oh, yeah.
It almost feels like a competition sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's easy to get caught up in that, especially when you see other people doing it.
Oh, totally.
You're like, oh, I need to be doing that too.
Yeah. But it's important to step back and think about why you're sharing what you're sharing.
Right.
Is it to actually add value to the conversation, or is it just to brag?
So instead of just saying, I just closed this huge deal,
Right.
you should say, hey, I just closed this deal and here are 3 things that I learned along the way
Exactly.
that could be helpful for other people.
Yeah, share your insights.
Okay.
Share your lessons learned.
Right.
Make it about more than just you.
And make it about the community. I like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of strategies,
Yes.
the article also talked about cold outreach,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, a lot of people don't know how to do it well.
It's a tough one.
And when they do it,
Right.
they often feel ignored.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you make cold outreach not suck?
Well, I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they just send out these generic messages.
Oh, yeah?
To a ton of people.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I saw your profile. I think we should connect.
Yeah.
It's so impersonal.
Who's going to respond to that?
Exactly. So what I like to do is I try to find something specific that I genuinely admire about their work.
Okay.
And I mention that in the message.
So hey, I saw that project you did on XYZ.
Right.
That was so cool.
Exactly. Or I read your article on, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it really resonated with me because ...
Yeah.
Something like that where you're showing that you've actually taken the time to learn about them and what they do.
Yeah.
And that you're not just, spamming everyone.
Yeah, that makes you stand out for sure.
Yeah, you got to personalize it.
Yeah.
Make it genuine.
Now, this whole conversation is making me think about referrals,
Mm-hmm.
which the article also touched on,
Yes.
and how hard they can be to get.
Right.
But aren't referrals the holy grail of getting a job?
They really are.
Right.
They're incredibly powerful because it's basically someone vouching for you, but they're built on trust. You can't just expect someone to put their reputation on the line for someone they barely know.
Right.
So it goes back to that building genuine relationships thing.
So how do you build that trust to get that referral?
Well, one thing you can do is engage with their content regularly.
Okay.
If they post something on LinkedIn, comment on it thoughtfully,
Yeah.
share their articles,
Mm.
offer genuine praise.
So you're not just showing up when you need something.
Exactly.
You're actually being a part of their community.
Yeah, be a good friend,
Yeah.
not just a good networker.
So, looking back at the article, there's a lot of frustration around this whole networking thing,
Yeah.
right? People feeling ignored or promises falling through
Mm-hmm.
or just the sheer volume of people out there
It's overwhelming.
vying for attention.
Yeah,
It's easy to get discouraged.
absolutely. But I think the key is to remember that networking is a long game.
Okay.
You're not going to see results overnight.
Right.
It takes time to build those relationships.
Yeah, it's not just about collecting as many LinkedIn connections as possible. It's about building a few.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, a few really strong connections.
Exactly.
This deep dive has been really helpful for me, honestly.
Good.
I was getting a little cynical about the whole thing.
You understand?
And I was like, is networking really worth it?
Mm-hmm.
But this has given me like a more realistic and honestly kind of hopeful perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about, being the most popular person on LinkedIn or having thousands of followers.
Yeah.
It's about building those authentic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
showing up consistently,
Yeah.
and having a strategy.
Right. You got to have a plan.
And, something that the article pointed out was that no one really teaches us how to network effectively.
That's so true.
So I think that's our challenge for this week.
Okay, I like it.
Find one unconventional way to connect with someone in your field,
All right, so not LinkedIn.
not LinkedIn,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's through a shared hobby,
Yeah.
or, maybe you volunteer somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
or you join like an online book club or something.
Interesting.
Get creative.
Yeah, think outside the box.
Yeah, think outside the LinkedIn box
Love it.
and let us know how it goes.
All right.
See you next time.